Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? I hope it's a wonderful morning for everyone. Um, and I really hope you can hear us both well. And that would be amazing if you can comment and to mention if you can hear, see us. It will be helpful. Okay, so what's today about and why are you here?
So
Um, Nadia,
I think that's a good question because communication is part of our life, right? And negotiation as well. And
I-
yeah, today we're going to speak about this part.
indeed. Um, each moment, no matter what are we doing, no matter we are meeting someone, we are communicating actually. Almost in each moment in our day by day life, we are also negotiating. So it's present almost in every single moment of our um, single moment of our lives or our daily basis. Goodies. Let's dig in. Let's start. Nadia, the mic is yours.
Okay, so let's see where we are at the beginning of this hour together. So we wanted to do this as much interactive as we can, and we are inviting you to contribute to a cloud of feelings, specifically how you are feeling today. So, I hope you can see my screen, and also let's put in the chat the link on Menti. Just a simple word. How do you feel today? Or maybe two words if you want. Let's get a glimpse of what's the
What's
state,
the mood?
the mood.
What?
Exactly. That was the
Yeah,
exactly
what is
that
your
was the
stage right now?
that was the word I was looking for. Thank you very much, Andrei. Okay, so let's see.
You have two options. Either you scan the QR code and it will redirect to the Menti. Either you enter the menti.com and use that specific code you can see on the screen. Once and while you are entering, you'll be able to see and yeah, okay, we're having the first words already.
Oh, great.
Okay, nice. That's a good start.
Yeah, so maybe you are thinking why this question, right? Because it's about communication. Why are we looking at feelings? Well, we are going to speak today about feelings because they play an important roles when it comes to communication and negotiation. So it's important to be able to recognize your feelings and know where you are at each moment, so you can find out more. But I'm not going to tell you right now too much. So if you have just joined, please log into to Menti and share with us what's your mood.
And for those who will enter a bit later, I will put this code into the chat so you can, after you enter the Menti, or we can ask our colleagues to mention that code 38772952 for anyone else who will be joining us minutes later. Okay, goodies. We will come back maybe for this slide. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we've seen some of the answers. Most of you, as I can see, are having indeed the positive feelings. Yeah, we could see I'm happy, I'm energized. It's Wednesday. It's really good weather outside, and we've seen also curiosity. Okay, so let's dig in a bit, and I would like to share you the agenda of our event and what exactly we will be going through. So as you can see, we'll be covering the mostly the communication part. because the communication and negotiation, they are going together. And it's good to know what it's about, the types of and skills in communication, and also strategies and barriers. More than that, there are different approaches you can have while communicating. And one of those is a nonviolent communication. We will be also focusing today because it's one of the topics we like the most. And also because each day you need to negotiate with your kids, with your wife, with your colleagues. We will share with you several negotiation principles. At the end, we'll allocate some time for Q&A session and also feedback. And your hosts, humble hosts for today will be Nadia, which is tech manager at Globant, and it's me, Andrei, just a project manager. Okay, let's go forward. Let's see what is expecting us. Okay, so what is actually communication? Yeah, let's see. And let's see what you think is communication. Right now, you can see the one another Menti slide. And please, in one word, share what does it mean for you? Communication or negotiation or both? You can put one word, okay, can make an exception, two words, but preferably one. So the same, please enter the Menti website. It's the same we've just shared with the same QR code, with the same code you can use. Let's start and let's see what will be your responses.
Yes, I think it's a difficult.
To set up and to understand what do we believe about these things. Are we on the same plate? Are we having the same understanding of the concepts?
Yeah, I was thinking that it's a tough question just in one word, because I think we have a lot of things we can say about communication and negotiation, but that's the magic of it, to try to resume it in a single word and see how it is for you. Okay, so we have some questions, so some answers. Sorry.
Unknown. Okay. That's interesting that we can cover something unknown, and more than that, it's important to share to others that you don't know something, in case this is true. Okay, so it's humanity, connections, creating relations, discussions, connecting, yeah. And one here stands out, it's win-win, and we will come also later to that. Many thanks. Some other words appears, good relations, a way to share. Amazing. Great job. Thank you, everyone. It feels that we are understanding the communication and negotiation exactly the same. So what is actually the communication? Yeah, so wait, I'm thinking about something. Before we are going forward, I'd like to present you someone. And this someone is one of my older friends. Oh, well, hello, dears. Okay, so this is my friend, and it's called Waki. Uh, oh, yeah. Waki has been next to me, I believe, for the past 18 years. Oh, that's a long time. And yeah, we didn't meet in the past a lot, past 10, 12 years. But now, yeah, you took me out of the closet. Shut up. Okay, so that's what it's about. And Waki today will be presenting next to me. Not too much. Hey, why not? Save your energy for my daughter. Oh, okay. Okay, so what about the communication? It's a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of, yeah, I know, That are symbols, that are signs and behavior. You know pretty a lot about this stuff. Oh, yeah, I read it all the night. Hmm. Okay, so what would be kids saying about communication? It's just a way of transmitting things or an exchange of information. And since we're in Globant and it's a big company from South America, you know that it comes from Latin verb communicare, which means to share or to make it common. Ah, that's nice. Okay, I believe we can go forward. And now I would like to present you 4 types of model communication. Pay attention that this is one of the models, and we will dig into that. So one of the models is the verbal type. This is the linguistic form, spoken. Oh, yeah, I speak all the time. We continue with our presentation and including the sign language. Yeah, I can do it. Okay, and the nonverbal part, it's body language. Oh, yeah, I am doing that a lot. Or it's called also kinesics. You have also the eye contact in nonverbal communication. Okay, oculesics it means. Um, in in the other 2 types in this specific model, we have the visual one, which means that we transfer all the visual elements to convey the information. This can be graphics, paintings, wall art on the streets. Yes, you are right. That's correct. And in the written type, it's exactly when we mean the symbols and words are imagery and you put them in a letter, for example, or in an email. This is also considered to be written. So this is the 4 types model of communication. There are several approaches. So we will go forward and we will show allow you to see that there is another type of the 5-type model of communication, which is split a bit differently. How is that? They didn't go across? No. Okay, so we have the verbal, non-verbal, and visual from the previous model, but now we split them with two another, synchronous and asynchronous. What does that mean? In the digital age, specifically when we are right now, it involves real-time interaction, like face-to-face. Oh, that's exactly what we are doing right now. Yes, indeed. This is face-to-face. We can also have the phone, video, instant messages, and live chat. Oh, now I get it. In the asynchronous mode, you can involve all the information which is delayed. So emails, recorded videos, and so on. Oh, so we are asynchronous too? Why is that? Because we are recording. Hmm, that's not quite so. We are now in the synchronous mode because we are having the live chat. Oh, sounds complicated. Okay. And also the social media posts also comes to asynchronous mode. Some other types of the communication can be intrapersonal. Which one is that? That means when you are thinking actually of something inside your head. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking about some great mosquitoes right now. Hmm, I don't know what to say about your mosquitoes. Can we leave it for later? Actually, I'm hungry. Maybe that's why I'm thinking about that. Okay. And interpersonal when we are discussing 2 of us. Oh, yeah. Mass communication when we transmit the information like TV, radio, politicians on the stage, and so on. Formal and informal. The formal one in the office and so on. Informal with the friends. And we have one meta communication. What is that? Well, meta communication seems a bit different. Meta communication is the subtext which changes the actual context of the previous said words. What do you mean? For example, the irony or sarcasm comes to that meta communication. And in case of you are making fun of someone, it can also be the meta communication. For example, when you previously mentioned about the mosquitoes of your head, I've said, oh, mosquitoes again. Well, that kind of mention from my side was meta communication and meta comment. Wow. Okay. Now, I believe it's time to leave you to go and to rest. Oh, no. Please do. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll leave our wacky for several minutes and we will dig in a bit more and a bit more serious into what does that mean. I'd like to mention about the Albert Mehrabian and why it's important. Because I believe you've all seen this pie chart with what actually we communicate and how we communicate. And many of us, we know that 55% is body language, 38% is voice and tone, and 7% is just spoken words. We've seen that a lot and everywhere. Forget about it. It's not correct. It's a misunderstanding and misinterpreting of the Mehrabian's studies. And why is that? Mehrabian made them 50, 60 years ago, yeah? And his study was focused on feelings and attitudes. And the answer to questions was only like and dislike. So I like something or I dislike something. And for example, one of the studies was put a word, put a tone of voice. What is the proportion? What affects us? What is the impression which lasts longer? The first word we hear or the tone of voice? And I'll make an example. For example, the word dear. So if I say, oh, dear, so it's sweet, it can be happy, dear. And you see that the tone of voice is important. But the same word, dear, I can say, dear, and maybe I'm thinking that I made something wrong, so that person tells me, dear. Yeah, so the tone of voice is more important than the word itself. And the other study was about the expression and tone of voice. What does that mean? It was the same. So you can be, for example, angry, yeah, with angry face and so on, and you are saying, yeah, I'm happy. So the facial expression in this case, you can see that is more important because it's transmitting different information that I'm really angry. No matter words are, I'm happy. And combine that, we have the numbers. But in our digital era, actually, you can imagine that going online and having an online meeting with our colleagues, they can enter with their cameras off. So what remains us? It's only voice and words. So the proportion will be really different. We don't have body language at all. We can have the intonation, the phrasing, and so on, the pauses. Okay, but we don't have any other body language clues. So that's why it's a misunderstanding of this specific pie chart. Okay. The four styles of communication, and most probably you've heard about them, so I'll be just going through pretty fast here. Passive, aggressive, passive-aggressive, and assertive. The passive ones, you can understand, it's someone who is holding back, who is self-denying, he's blaming himself on many situations, he's staying low profile, doesn't ask questions, he's agreeing to everything else, and so on. And you can find them by saying something like, okay, we'll do whatever you want. Pick any food you would like. I'll go whatever the team decides. I'll put any estimation on that. Yeah. The aggressive is exactly opposite. So it's attacking, blaming, and so on, controlling, directing, and so on. You have some examples here. Passive-aggressive borrows both of the passive and aggressive styles. They are blaming at the end. Even they are taking the passive attitude at the beginning, they become aggressive at the end. And what I would like to propose you is to start becoming more assertive. Assertive means to understand others, to understand your own feelings, emotions, and to try to find solutions. And because the feedback is direct, it's expressive, it's confident, it's empathic. Okay. So right now we are having an idea in our head, for example, in case of we want to transmit something. And after that, we are transmitting the message itself. Yeah. In our head, the most important thing is to understand what exactly you want to say. Because if it's not clear for you, you will not be able to transmit the message forward. So no matter the topic is technical, it's business, it's chemistry, biology, and so on, try to explain what you have to say as you are speaking to a 5-year-old kid. If you can do that, that you can understand everyone else. And also try to have a self-awareness of your personal emotions. Because even you want to transmit something, maybe you are too happy or too angry. And try to be self-aware how you transmit that message. And when message actually reached and it's delivered to the recipient, yeah, you want to be able to see that the message actually is there. How you can ensure that you are transmitting the right message? In this specific case, you can record yourself. This way you will be able to see how you look, how you speak, what is the sound of your own voice, how you make pauses, and so on. And also, what I'll be suggesting is to create a story behind your words. So the same way I did with Waki, and I bring him here, it was a small story. And that's what I tried to make. Okay. Now, some effective skills. Most probably you know that this is the active listening. You should be there, you should be focusing, you should understand, you should communicate with the other person, and so on. And some of these techniques, they are paraphrasing, so trying to say with your own words what you understood. Non-verbal cues, the person is transmitting, and to understand how the body language actually speaks, and if all of the body language signs are congruent with what you are speaking. And of course, avoid interruptions. So wait till that person finishes something to say. Of course, the empathy is another important thing. Empathy is being aware not only of your own emotions, but to understand the others, to know how to approach them, to know how to translate those, to see how it feels. Yeah. And some of these techniques is perspective taking. So try to be in the other person's shoes and you will be able to see that. Yeah. And for the validation, you just ask, is that actually what you are feeling? Okay. Of course, in your speech, you need to be really clear and conscious. The message you are transmitting, if you detect there are unused words, there is plenty of words you are mentioning, throw them away. Your message should be really clear. And some of those techniques is try to be really direct and use the simple language as much as possible. Of course, you want to take some feedback from the members because this is how we grow. Of course, you know that. And we've seen the feedback presentation yesterday also. Some of the techniques is to be really specific and try to be positive, or at least try to make the proportion of the positive aspects of improvement to be more than the negative ones. For the nonverbal communication, this is a totally separate part. It's one of the things I like the most. I've been an actor for more than 10 years, and this is a domain I like the most. I have totally separate presentation about this for 3 hours. It's a full training, but yeah, we can stay a lot. I'll go just very fast through it. Some techniques, it's body language, you've seen. This is eye contact, this is touch, this is the expression of your voice, and so on. And facial expressions, of course. The confidence you are speaking is really important. Yeah, you cannot have doubts when you are saying something really clear. You know the matter. You are the expert. But if your voice is not confident, I will not trust you. I will not believe you, and I will not go with you along the way. So some of the techniques, of course, try to focus and having the eye contact and speak clearly. The adaptability is for everything which is around us to try to stay in any environment, no matter how it changes, especially in our digital and technical era, especially in the fact that after COVID, everything changed, especially that we are working with a lot of cross-cultural teams around the world. Yeah, and some of the techniques, you need to know the audience and to be flexible. Goodies. Some of the communication strategies besides all of that, whenever you are discussing, whenever you are communicating, don't multitask. It's not cool. Be present, be there. You might have a lot of thoughts. They will come and go while you are speaking, or while you are discussing, communicating with someone. Let them go. Yeah. Don't patronize. So don't be bossy. Put yourself and your opinions aside. You will be able to learn more by listening rather than by speaking. The use of open-ended questions, it's once again a really big topic. Try to understand what exactly that person tries to communicate, make use of them, try some techniques like 5 whys and so on and so on. Our experiences are different. Yeah. And if a member mentions, okay, I had the accident, don't transform that into your personal stuff. Oh, I know how it is to have an accident. Yeah, but I broke my leg. Yeah, it was tough time for me too when I broke. No, it's not about you. It's about them. Let them talk. Let them express themselves and their feelings. Yeah, because we have different experiences. And try to listen, not with the intent to reply. Try to understand the message and go deeper and try to deepen the communication. Try to deepen the relationship you are building. Yeah. That's a good quote from Churchill. Okay. Some communication theories, I will not go over them, but they are here just for you to know that they exist. Shannon Weaver was one of the first, someone in 48, transactional, Berlos, Weasley, and so on. The Schramm one is the updated Shannon Weaver model, and so on. This is for you in case of you would like to go more into the communication theories. Yeah? Okay. What are our barriers while we are communicating, and what might be the solutions? Of course, one of the main barriers is the language. For example, I'm speaking the English right now. English is not my native language. Yeah, I have 2 other native languages, and that's why I try to make the English right now as casual as possible and try to use the simplest way to transfer the information to you. Avoid jargon here. It means the technical parts in case of you are speaking with someone who is not technical and so on. And you just need to ensure clarity. The cultural barriers, those are the ones which tends to be the differences. We are in the world where we can speak with Asians, with Americas, with Africans, and so on. Each culture and all the countries within that specific region have different habits. So show the respect, adapt your communication style to all those differences. And you really need to invest some time to understand. In case of you are having a team of people, try to understand how they feel. What do they mean by specific gesture? It can be different, for example. Yeah. On the emotional side, already mentioned emotions practice, empathy, supportive environment. That's what I'm trying to do with my team also as much as possible. The perceptual, clarify everything you want to say. Yeah, try to find all the feedback. Go to your colleagues, understand what they want to say, and transmit to you. The technological part. In case of you are missing that part, yeah, seek some training. Go to symposiums, yeah, conferences, and so on. You need to have a backup plan in case of something doesn't work. You have a backup plan. The attitudinal one is for the teams, for example, when you foster the inclusive environment, yeah, because there can be some biases already created in that specific team and you want to eliminate them. So challenge them. You can encourage the active participation in discussions and so on. Yeah. The organizational one, it's in between the companies, for example, or state governments and stuff like that. You want to establish the clear communication channels. And that can be done also in the teams, yeah, because you want to know how you will communicate or the results of one-on-ones or the feedback and so on, evaluations. Goodies. Now, since we go through that, the cross-cultural part, and it's more pregnant right now in nowadays, already mentioned. You've seen the language differences. They are the most important here. Yeah. For example, in Italy, there is more than 50 dialects. Yeah. And there are moments when someone from the south doesn't understand someone from the north, and so on and so on. So try to overcome those misunderstandings. The cultural norms, it's about how we having different habits, different values. Maybe the time is different for me rather than for someone from Spain or from Argentina. Yeah. And they don't value that time so much and to be on time. So being late 10 minutes for them, it's just nothing. It's correct. The nonverbal cues discussed pretty much here. The assumptions we can have and the stereotypes, yeah, it's preconceived notions. For example, many of us we've heard about Indians developers, and it's an Indian developer. No, it's not true. They are a big population, you can meet them a lot, but that doesn't mean if you've heard or you've seen 1, 2, 3, all of them, they are the same. So don't have those preconceived notions about a specific regional area or colleagues. Yeah, let them showcase you if it's the case or not. Okay, now for the interpersonal, that means we are discussing in between 2 or more persons. Yeah. And what is the importance of that? It's building relationships, it's conflict resolution, and it's emotional support. Yeah. So that's what it's about in interpersonal communication. And I believe the last slide, we've discussed a lot about communication. Communication and negotiation, they are having a lot in common because negotiation is done through communication. Without communication, you cannot negotiate. But what is the difference between these two? It's actually the scope. And the scope is, for communication, conveying ideas, transmitting the message, and building relationships. The scope of negotiation is reach agreements. That's why you are going to negotiations, or to resolve conflicts. These are two mains, let's say. Yeah. And since we are digging in, I will let now Nadia to continue and to showcase you what can we do in negotiation.
Thank you very much, Andrei, and thank you for all the valuable information that you shared. At least for the Maghrebian study, I know that I thought and I believed it for quite a lot of time, and thanks to you, it's more clear now what the study actually meant and how to interpret it. Okay, so let's dig in a bit in the non-violent communication part. So what's behind this concept of non-violence? It's actually empathy, right? So maybe the best question is, how can we negotiate with empathy, but actually communicate with empathy, right? It's the same base the communication with empathy. And in non-violent communication, we have two symbols for different types of communication styles that we use. One of them is the giraffe, which is the symbol of non-violent communication, because the giraffe is one of the animals with the biggest heart on the planet. So it has a lot of empathy, and it also sees things from above. So it's not that it can be a bit detached. And they say that the giraffe's heart can be as big as a jackal. So this is the second animal that we use as a symbol of the violent communication. So if we look at these two types of speaking and negotiating, we're going to see very big differences. The jackal uses judgments, right? Generalizations, labels, like Andrei said, perceptions. Uh, the jackal language has like fixed strategies. I have to do this exactly this way, no other way possible. And we also express ourselves using demands. The other way around, when we are speaking from our hearts and from the giraffe style, we tend to be more observant. Like Andrei said, just to observe the feelings, to observe what's happening, to see what we are feeling in this moment, what are our actual needs, and then do express some requests, and then from that point on, try to actually negotiate with the person in front of us. So even if right now the terms are not very clear, what's the difference between a request and a demand, a feeling and a perception, we are going to discuss exactly about this one. So let's start with the first principle, because I'm going to share with you 7 principles that I think will help you a lot when communicating and also when negotiating. These are the principles that I also use in my day-to-day life, and I can say that they made a difference a lot. So the first principle, it's actually the base principle in nonviolent communication, is that everything we do is an attempt to meet our needs. And of course, we are not speaking if we are actually meeting them or not, so if the attempt is successful or not, but everything we do, we are doing it because we want to meet our needs. So let's say about negotiation. Why do we negotiate then, right? Well, first off, I want to convince you to agree to idea that meets my needs, right? And you want to do the same, but with your needs. So you want to convince me with your idea to meet your needs. So this is an important topic to keep in mind, and always ask yourself, okay, is actually the idea that we have, the strategy, meeting both our needs? Because otherwise we are going to continue negotiating it until we find, hopefully, a solution. And what kind of solution can we have? Well, actually, we would like to have a solution that makes us both winners, right? We all want to have our needs met. And when negotiating, maybe you heard of these 4 possible scenarios. The negotiation can end with a lose-lose result. So this is the compromising for both sides. I'm losing, but it's okay. You are also losing, but that doesn't make us winners, right? Makes us losers, and we don't want to do that. It's in our human nature to be winners, to feel good about ourselves and about the others. So sometimes we might negotiate and get in a position when I win and you lose, and this is not also a good strategy because yeah, maybe at the moment I feel good because I win, but on long term the relationship will suffer. So we don't want the other person to feel nothing else than a winner as us. Of course, we can be in the mirror scenario where I lose and the other part wins, and you can see that this is not comfortable, right, for anybody. So the scenario in which we would like to be is where I win and you win, and we find a resolution to the negotiation from the perspective that meets both our needs. Okay. So I think as you saw in the comments, if you have any questions regarding what Andrei shared or what I am sharing, please write in the comments, and we are going to answer at the end. We try to make things as practical and with as many practical suggestions as possible. But for sure, if you have questions, we will answer them. Okay, let's go to principle number 3. Like Andrei also mentioned earlier, what you say and how you say it matters. Okay, but I want to give you a different perspective, or a complementary one, let's say. So it's important to see reality as it is, because sometimes in our mind we have just an image of what reality is. It's not the actual reality. And if we use observations, the one that I told you, the giraffe kind of communication, we are going to express with real facts, with things that are visible, are hearable, are touchable, and they are not things that we don't get into debates, right? So for example, I can say right now, okay, Nadia is sharing her screen and you can see 3 lines written in white. You can see that, right? I mean, it's obvious, it's there, we don't disagree with it. And these are the observations, they are just facts that are, we don't have personal interpretations. On the other side, we can express ourselves and express the reality in perceptions, in judgments, in comparisons. So this is the jackal like communication style, when we say this is bad, this is good, the other person is better than you, we should have done this in a different way. So as I said previously, we all want to be winners, right? So when we use judgments or perceptions, we kind of hint to the other person that you are not okay. And we want to be in a position when we communicate and also when we negotiate, when we are equally okay. I am okay and you are okay. And we want to discuss from that point on. So if we express ourselves in observations, we are probably going to be more open to cooperate and collaborate, and also the person in front of us as well. If we use perceptions, as Andrei said, different styles like passiveness, attacking, passive aggressiveness, fear, shame, or guilt, but they are all not in collaboration and cooperation. So let's say, like tips and tricks, try to communicate explicitly as much as possible instead of assuming. Ask the other person, okay, what is important to you? Instead of assuming and thinking you know. That's just a perception or a judgment. And also share with the other person what is important to yourself. So they know, they don't have to assume or think for you, right? The fourth principle is focus on your needs in order to find flexible strategies. And as I told you, we want to focus more on the needs, and the difference matters because the needs they are different from the strategies in the perspective that needs are abstract. We all have them. It's like we have the need for freedom, for security, for growth, for connection, for being heard or seen. These are all abstract stuff, right? You cannot observe them. You cannot touch them. On the other side, the strategies, they are concrete ways of meeting our needs. So maybe somebody prefers when communicating to talk, somebody else prefers to write, somebody prefers to do stuff, right? Or giving a hand of to help the other. So these are all strategies which can be very difficult. They're difficult to understand for somebody who has difficult the different strategies. So let me just give you an example. It's a simple one. One day we wanted to go. We were at the office and we wanted to eat something. And one of the colleagues said, "Okay, we all had the need for food, right? So that's for sure." But one of the colleagues said, "I want to go and eat Chinese because I haven't been there for a while." And another colleague said, "Well, no, I have been to the Chinese last week. Let's go and eat some sushi." And they were actually discussing and debating where we should go, all of us being hungry, right? But what did I do? Instead of looking at the strategies, which were the concrete ways, going to the Chinese or going to sushi, I looked at the needs. Both of them actually had the same need. They needed variety, they needed something different. And then I said, okay, well, how about we go to, and I said the name of another restaurant. Did you go there recently? And both of them were very happy because they didn't go there recently. And that's where we went. So this is actually the magic when you can start seeing beyond the strategies, which is the needs. You can see the abstract part and find different ways of meeting those needs with adaptable strategies, right? Because sometimes we might have the same needs but just different strategies to meet there, and that makes negotiation difficult because we don't agree on the strategy, although we might have the same needs, right? And this is the magic of it. For any need we have an infinite ways, an infinite strategies that we can meet those needs. It's just a matter of creativity to find the proper one, which takes us to win-win. Okay, and principle number 5, listen actively and empathically. And I told you emotions are important. Andrei also said about this topic, because also it's important to make a difference because between emotions and perceptions. Emotions are things that you you can feel them in your body. Nobody can say they are not, or they cannot debate on your feelings, right? Because they are about yourself. But perceptions, they might sound like an emotion because we usually use the verb I feel that, or I feel like, but they are not emotions. They are thoughts. They are usually thoughts about the other person, right? So I say, I feel that you didn't listen to me. I feel that he doesn't care. So if you can replace feel with think, and it sounds grammatically okay, then it's not a feeling, but it's a perception. So this is a trick that you can do at any time to see when you are expressing yourself. Is this something that I actually feel, or is it something that I think? And some of the words you use, like I feel fooled or betrayed or neglected, these are also very similar to emotions. They look like emotions, but in fact they are just words that say that somebody else did something, and this is the perception that you got. So it's about the others, not about you. So always try to come back to yourself and see what is the true emotion. Because emotions are not good or bad, they are just messengers, right? Pleasant emotions tell us about our met needs. For example, happiness. Happiness usually tells us that something happened that met our needs, right? And we are happy. On the other side, the unpleasant emotions tell us about our unmet needs, like fear. Fear appears where something dangerous might be around. Maybe we need safety or we need protection. Anger usually appears when boundaries are being crossed. So maybe I need respect or protection as well. Surprise, well, this happens when unexpected happens, right? So maybe I need predictability or structure. Sadness usually appears when something we needed, we lost, or we don't have. Maybe we need empathy, maybe we need support, and that's why we are sad. Disgust as well, that happens, that emotion appears when something is not aligned with my values. So it's important to see what is behind these feelings, because they are just messengers of our needs. And even when we communicate or we negotiate, we can very well calibrate ourselves and see, okay, is this negotiation going to a point where we are win-win? And our emotions should tell us that. If we are both happy, that means we are in a win win. Otherwise, we still have some unmet needs. And how can we figure out which are the unmet needs? Well, this is a big principle, and if you can apply it, it will make a difference. Every no that you hear from somebody is a yes for the unmet needs that we probably missed, right? So as Andrei said, empathy is very important, to put ourselves in the person's experience and think and try to see from their perspective. Because when people feel heard and feel that we care about them, they are more willing to cooperate, and us as well. So don't take things personally. If somebody rejects your idea, your strategy, don't take it personally. It's just that person telling you that your suggestion doesn't meet all their needs. So then just ask yourself, okay, what's important to that person that I am currently missing? I don't see it right now, and I didn't include it in my strategy. So then identify the need, adapt the strategy to include this as well, and generally show that you care about the person and you both want to be winners. I think that makes a really big difference when we don't see, when we are negotiating or even communicating, we don't see each other as opposing but as um, co- being in a communication and cooperative mode. And the last principle is to make requests, not demands. What does it mean? Of course, I think you know already. You don't like to be told what to do, right? Nobody likes to do that. And nobody wants to be told what to do. So this is the difference between requests and demands. When we do requests, we say what would enrich our lives, what we would like the other person to do, but we also give the freedom of choice to do it or not to do it, or maybe continue the negotiation to find a better solution. When we demand stuff, the other person has to do it, has to agree with us, and if they don't, you probably get upset or maybe passive aggressive or something like that, right? So just three quick tips to do efficient requests. First of all, ask and tell the other person what you want, because sometimes we say, I don't want you to do this, but okay, but that person doesn't know what you actually want him or her to do, right? So it's like getting in a taxi and saying, okay, take me anywhere you want in this town, but don't take me to the bus station. And you're going to go around in circles because the taxi driver doesn't know where you want to go. So it's important to say what you want. Also, be specific, be realistic, be clear with your request. Try to give as much details as possible because, yeah, I know it's difficult to make requests to the others, but think how difficult it is for the others to know what you want if you don't tell them, right? So it's very important. And also, the main difference between a request and a demand is that it ends with a question mark. So when I do a request, it's like, okay, I would like you to do this. How is this for you? Would you be willing to do this? So I ask a question and I openly invite the other person to finding solutions together. So all in all, let's just recap negotiating with empathy. As I said, we have four dimensions that we want to look at: observations, feeling, needs, and requests. So initially, I want to observe what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm viewing, right? And how I feel. How I feel tells me about my needs. But also, I want to understand the other party and see, okay, what are they hearing or seeing through their senses? How do they feel? And what are their needs? Because when I can see both the needs, then I can do and I can make a request that meets both our needs and ask and end it with a question mark, right? Because maybe it's not the best one, but we can start and uh, continue the negotiation and discussion to find the best solution for both of us. Okay, so I hope this was helpful for you, and you have more practical tips and tricks on how to communicate and negotiate with empathy. And I think we also
Thank you, Nadia,
yes,
a lot. Um, uh, there were some great insights into the nonviolent communication and the win-win situation. Indeed, there is the last question in the chat. Most probably it's dedicated for you. If you can take
yes.
it.
How can I better differentiate emotions from perception? Is it wrong not to know the difference? Well, it's not wrong, but it's helpful to know the difference. So you can differentiate between emotions and perceptions by asking yourself, is it about me and only about me? Can I feel it in my body? So, for example, I can say I'm sad, right? Sadness is something about myself. But if I say you fooled me, it's not about myself. It's not only about myself, but it's about the other as well, right? So this is a simple way that you can differentiate between emotions and perception. Ask yourself, is it only about me or is it about the other person? Usually it's mostly about the other person.
I would like to take the question from Nikki. He asks if sometimes you are not aware of how your style of communication is perceived. You might think that you are being assertive, so a cool way of communication, while you are not, or not completely. Any tips on that? Bear in mind, in ourselves, we are having all four communication styles, and passive and aggressive and passive aggressive and assertive. All of them, they are present, but in different proportions. So most probably you are having one of them as dominant. The other ones are dormant, and you can exceed them if you practice more. Okay, now coming back to the question. So how can we find that? There are two ways. And first is the direct one. It's ask for the feedback, because you don't know what impression you left on your colleague, on the other person, if you don't ask. Because otherwise, you will be assuming what they think. You will be assuming what type of emotion you left. You will be assuming if you've been passive or aggressive or both or so on. So you ask for feedback. How did that felt for you? Did I offend you? Is it correct way to communicate with you? And so on. Yeah, so ask for direct feedback. And that way, when you've been asking more and more and more, you will understand what way you've responded in a specific moment. And you will be understanding better and better if it's assertive way or not. This is first. And second, introspect yourself. So go into yourself and ask yourself, okay, which words did I use with that specific person? And having that in mind and doing the introspection, you will find several type of words. And depending on which category it goes, you will be able to detect what is the style you used. Okay. Hope I answered, and it's great for you. Are there any other questions? Right now, no. I would like to mention just few words about this Global Career Week. Guys, remember this event is dedicated just to supporting tech professionals in our career developments, and we are trying to make it as insightful as possible through our talks and practical training sessions. And you will be able to see during this whole week that we are learning and building the lasting habits. We are expanding our skills. We master our techniques to communicate, and of course, to know how to do that effectively. So in case of you want to strengthen your opportunities, please come, see us, join the sessions, and so on. And one another thing, we are also offering some mentoring sessions during this career week. What does that mean? That we are offering 3 exclusive 30-minute mentoring sessions with our experts. You can gain personalized career advice tailored to your goals. If you register now on the link that our colleagues are going to add in the chat, so you can secure your spot, and the winners will be announced on Thursday when we finish the career week. Many thanks for that. If there are no other questions, I believe we can wrap it up. Nadia, any
Yes.
final words?
So let's finish how we started, right? So, what is
Yeah.
communication and negotiation for you now at the end of this hour together? In a word, I know it's just one word, but let's see if anything changed, or how do you view it right now after what we shared. So we have the link on Menti. You can see it in the chat, or you can go to menti.com and use the code 38772952. And you can answer in one word, what is communication and negotiation for you. Okay, so I think we already have some answers. We have collaboration, complex, abstract. Okay.
It's becoming interesting. You know why it's becoming interesting, Nadia? Because the first one, if you remember, there was, okay, what's the communication? The answers have been discussions, win-win situations, yeah, stuff like that. Now we can see that after this session, we are going more into science. We are exploring more the aspects of the communication as a scientific effect. We are covering the needs, but also we are pretty abstract with the concepts. Maybe there are some things we don't know actually on communication, or we don't know what type of techniques are in negotiation and how to use them according to the environment. Yeah. So complex, it's another word which demonstrates that. So I'm grateful indeed. Many thanks, guys. That we complicated a bit things, but I hope that this moment made you just to reflect and to be able after this session, because what we want is you maybe will not remember too many things after this presentation. You will be just saying, oh, okay, it was Andrei, Nadia, they had some presentation, okay, communication, negotiation, yeah, some situation, win-win, that's cool. You will not be remembered. But maybe that will be one insight to trigger you and to research more. That's our purpose, maybe. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good thing that we presented a lot of ideas here, right? So we don't have to take all of them, just take at least one that made you curious, try to find more about it, and the most important part is put it into practice, right? Because as much as you read and you know stuff, life is practical, so you have to try to put it into practice. Take at least one of the ideas that you heard today and try to apply it as much as possible. And don't worry if it's not easy at the beginning, or maybe you don't get the perfect results from the start. I think you do that quite a few times in life, that you find the solution from the very first trial. But keep on trying, like a kid that starts to learn. You don't tell him when they fall, you don't tell the kid, oh, forget about walking, it's not for you, you're not good at it. No, so don't tell that to yourself. Just try an idea, and even if it doesn't work from the beginning, continue doing it until it works. Give yourself the chance. Okay, so let me check if we have any other questions. I guess not.
I believe this is the time, yeah, just to say goodbye to everyone.
Yes, and
hope you
thank
enjoyed it. Most probably this presentation will be shared to you by our colleagues. If you want it, it's yeah, shareable totally. And yeah, thank you for your participation.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, see you next time. Oh. Yeah, thank you, Waki, also for being part of our presentation.
Yes, thank you, Waki. Bye bye.